to our Sparks Global webinar series entitled Introducing Spark Systems Prolaborate 4. It's a pleasure to have you all here today, and I'd like to thank you all for joining us. Today, I'm joined by Nizam Mohammed. Now, Nizam, I've had the pleasure of working with for a number of years. Nizam has 15 plus years of experience with Spark Systems product. He's the founder and CEO of 6force Solutions and was a creator of Spark Systems Prolaborate. So he has a great deal of expertise across the Spark Systems product range and extensive experience as an architecture consultant and implementation specialist across different verticals in different countries, including the US, Sweden, Germany, Dubai, Qatar, Malaysia, Singapore, Australia, and India. So I'd like to welcome Nizam with us today. So the agenda, we're going to briefly talk about how to submit questions. We're then going to introduce Spark Systems Prolaborate 4. So for any of our customers that have perhaps used Enterprise Architect but have not seen Prolaborate before, this will be a great opportunity to learn more about the product. And for people that have used previous versions of Spark Systems Prolaborate and want to see what's new and exciting in the latest release, we'll also find out about that today. So we're going to do this via a demonstration. So I'm going to hand over to Nizam for a demonstration, and at the end we'll have a Q&A with the audience. Please note that audio is muted for all participants. You will be able to type questions to the host, and if we can't answer all questions, we'll follow up offline, and typically within 24 hours of the presentation completing, we publish videos on YouTube, and then we respond to some of those questions and publish on the Spark Systems website about a week later. So simply enter the text in the question box, hit send, or hit enter on the numeric keypad, and then it'll come through to myself. I'll answer those questions. But right now, I'd like to hand over to Nizam, who's going to present on introducing Spark Systems Prolaborate 4. So I've just made you the presenter, Nizam. So welcome and thanks for joining us. I can see your screen and it looks good. So I'll hand over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Scott. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining this session today. This is Nizam Mohammed, and I'm part of the Spark Systems Prolaborate team. I'm actively involved in product management and also in deployment and rolling out and consulting for Sparks products as well. So in today's session, we'll be taking a closer look at the new latest release of Prolaborate from our product teams. But the reason we are going to see something different today from what we have seen in the past is, though it's like another new release of Prolaborate, what we have done is taken quite a bit of efforts to incorporate all the feedback and technological advancements to almost rewrite the entire application to make it more scalable, cloud ready, faster, responsive, and even more intuitive and easier to use. So this is something that we are all excited about, and I would like to show you a quick look of what's in offer. And as Scott said, this is part of the Sparks suite of products, and we are really glad that we are making some significant inroads into the customer base, and we are seeing some rapid adoption from the Sparks community in the last couple of years. I'll walk you through that as well. Yeah, but before starting, I would really like to express a note of thanks to all the users and partners who have been supporting us since our start. We've been seeing some exponential growth in the last few years. Prolaborate is one of the recent additions to the Sparks suite of products, but the kind of support and enthusiasm that we've been receiving from day one has been really remarkable. So before jumping to Prolaborate 4.0, I want to thank everyone who has been actually supporting us so far, and I also give you a quick overview of where it all started. Scott said, I've been working with Spark Systems in several roles in various capacities for the last 15 plus years, and I've been an active consultant in like many projects where we have deployed EA for architectural modeling, for solution designing, for process modeling, and for various other purposes. And what gave us that drive to come up with a solution like this is the repeated, like in-depth understanding of what we want in the Sparks ecosystem, and also the pain points that we face when we take EA models and socialize that to the non-EA community. So we've been, having some resistance towards looking at something very technical and having real challenges in getting the buy-in from the stakeholders to get their inputs, to get their feedback in the work that all of us as architects and modelers have been doing for many months or even years. And what it was resulting in is, it was kind of underestimating the value that these models create. At the end of the day, people were again reverting back to PowerPoints and Visios to communicate information in a simpler way. And we've been going to Excels for pivot charts and things like that, which are all those archaic practices which we wanted to replace with models. But then we've been forced to go back to that because of some small issues in socializing these models. So in-depth understanding of this is what made us come up with an offering to address this problem. So we developed Prolaborate as a sharing and collaboration portal for enterprise architect users, and we launched it in 2018. And since day one, I still remember this, people who took a look at it for the first time. Since day one, we've been seeing some incredible support and positive feedback, because this was addressing some of the issues that we all as modelers and as architectural teams, as architects face on a day-to-day basis. And when they looked at something that could solve those problems in a simple way, it went really well. So we had a really good network of partners who started supporting us in different regions. We were making some good inroads in the initial year, but then again we were driving architecture by collaboration, and in the initial few deployments itself we saw some significant results and value created through this platform. So we were having a community of people who were starting to work with the architects in an agile way to give them the feedback, reviews, approvals, and comments, so that whatever comes out of the model was directly relevant to them, and it was continuously maintained as well. So we wanted that single source of truth in architecture repository, but then we wanted to decentralize the inputs to the wider non-EA community, and that was working really well. And that was very quickly recognized by the Spark systems themselves. And that's when they decided to include Prolaborate as part of the Sparks core suite. And it all happened by the end of 2018. And since then, we've been having some really good success, because it's endorsed by Spark Systems and it's now part of an integrated solution. And what we also did, once we rolled out and we figured out that there are people who are willing to move to the solution, but there's also all the infrastructure challenges. We started focusing a lot on cloud-based deployments that makes it easier for the end users. And it's all the feedback from partners, customers, and our understanding of the cloud deployments for several users that all were included into this new version. So that's the reason I was going through this whole story. Prolaborate and the whole support, we've been trying to be very receptive to the users' feedback and partners' feedback. And from day one, we've been having a very active channel to get what is needed, what's the requirement, and just do what is essential in the product rather than just coming up with something that we think will be useful. So it has been requirements driven development since day one, and at the point when we started a significant shift to cloud and adoption to cloud platforms, we thought that will be the right time for us to get the product more scalable, more cloud ready, and more agile, so that it's suiting to the latest trends and the emerging needs of the user. So that's what Collaborate Next Gen or 4.0 is all about. And as I said, it took us a while to get to that first few users, but then ever since then we've been making some really good progress. I'm just talking about the Collaborate adoption. So Spark Systems is a much larger community. So there's over 1 million users using EA as of date, and that's a very established and a larger user base. I'm talking about the number of teams, number of companies who have adopted Collaborate as part of their Sparks ecosystem, and we are making some really good progress in the last few quarters. And that's just to again say that we are what we are just because of all the support and feedback that we have received from the users and partners. So thank you to one and all. And we have just a quick view of the people who've been supporting us from day one. So with that said, that was just I thought I'll take this opportunity to thank everyone. And with that said, let's go to today's agenda. So today the focus is mainly on Collaborate 4.0 and whatever we have learned and how we have incorporated that into this new offering. I'll just try to give a very high level summary, but to take a deeper or a closer look at it, we invite you to contact us for a demo or expert-led session to see how we could really suit your needs. So we'll start with what are our drivers that kind of led to such an attempt. So Collaborate 4.0 has been in the making for almost 18 months now. It's not just an overnight decision to do something new. We built it from scratch using whatever is the latest that the largest applications in the world are using. So it's something that we took very seriously to come up with it. And the key drivers was Collaborate's first value proposition that we wanted to do was to address the user's experience. So from the day one, Collaborate's idea was to simplify and curate the user's experience so that they don't get overwhelmed with what is being shown to them. But then again, after reaching to much wider and broader audience, we accumulated more feedback. We wanted to reduce the number of clicks. We wanted to make things even more obvious right to their visibility, so that they don't have to go through any training of any sorts. They don't have to spend time to dig around the tool to find anything. So we wanted to have an even more smoother and seamless user experience that aligns with all the modern tools that we see and that they are used to. That was one of the main drivers. And then we wanted to have some really top-notch performance. Like as much as we had the previous version optimized for performance, it was built with some some legacy technologies behind, and it was having a little bit of lag here and there, and that was duly noted based on the users' feedback, and we wanted to have those addressed. So it's giving us the users the top-notch performance. That was another driver. And then cloud ready. So Collaborate as a web platform has been changing the way Sparks tool suite has been deployed. However, with the advent of COVID and all the work from home, the in-house infrastructure is becoming a second choice for most of our teams. Everyone is like cloud first, and everyone sort of realizes cloud is the way to go. So we wanted to have an application that is designed, that is architected for a cloud deployment, more nimble, more scalable, and available across zones. So cloud readiness was one of the key drivers as well. And then there's been quite a few requests that we've been receiving. Again, our design, like principle is, even if there are requests for 100 features, we will try to implement only the 10 or 15 things that are most relevant and most useful to our users. We wanted to have that trade-off between going with too many features and giving an overwhelming experience to the users versus having something that's very focused, that's done in utmost detail, so it gives the users the best experience. And our approach to do the focused features and the most useful features has been paying off and has been working very well. But then we also have been collecting a number of features because the original idea of Collaborate was just to share and collaborate, to take the EA diagrams and let people view it and collaborate on it. But then the application of Collaborate started to get more wider. We were put in front of CXOs, and we were put in front of senior stakeholders whose expectations were more towards dashboarding and reporting and all the fancy things that one would expect from a high-end architecture tool. So catering to that from the older version we were trying to do, but with 4.0 that has all been taken as the core feature set, and we will see something really useful and exciting for every stakeholder here. And then the last thing is about scalability. As I said, cloud readiness and scalability has been another major reason why we decided to rewrite it. Most of the Sparks users who go for such platforms are multi-geographically, located across multiple geographical locations, several teams working from different places. So we wanted something that's highly scalable and highly available from different regions. So like 4.0 takes those into considerations as well. So those were the drivers which led to our team committing, biting the bullet and taking that effort to rewrite an entire application. So, and it was a very strenuous effort from the entire team to get this to meet and exceed the expectations, because the previous version of the Collaborate in itself was having a really good feedback from the users, but then we wanted to exceed expectations and make this one the go-to tool for the future. So it was quite an exciting journey. And now we'll take a closer look at some of the enhancements. As I said, I've been saying, based on these drivers, whatever we have done, I'll just give a quick overview of those. The first and foremost feature, or first and foremost thing that we wanted is reduce the number of clicks and reduce the number of things that are shown to the users. Okay, though again, as I'm saying, this is different from what we see in a conventional architecture tool. The more is better in a full-fledged detailed architecture tool. But when it comes to presenting to users, we believe that less is what people are expecting. So we wanted to have a very sleek and minimalistic user interface which helps us present the right information to the users and nothing more. So we didn't want to have windows hanging around from left to right, or we didn't want to have pop-ups. So we went with the most flat and clean user interface as our design. So a user, when he or she logs in, they just get to see what they wanted to see, and they should be able to action on it immediately. So you could see discuss and share are the two main actions that we expect from the users, and that will be very prominent and easily accessible from any part of the application now. And then we also wanted to give a much enriched experience when people interact with the models and want to find information from the model, or even update the model information from a browser. So Collaborate, as I said, initially we started as just a sharing and a collaboration tool, but then we quickly started supporting people to enter values, like people could update model elements, update descriptions, update tagged values, and it's now becoming a way to engage non-EA teams to feed inputs to the architecture models. Conventionally, what would have happened through Excels or some emails are all happening through Prolaborate itself, and we wanted to kind of improvise on it and make it as simple as possible for the users. So the forms and the layouts will all be much less cluttered and easy to use. So that has been another design principle. And also provide all the essential information in one go. Like, the same information was visible in the previous version as well, but we need to click on a couple of tabs to see this information. Again, the people whom we are targeting had very little time and very little focus to review models, and even asking them to do a couple of clicks was considered to be a deterrent. So we wanted to have them all offered in a platter, in a flat view, so it's all quite self-explanatory and intuitive for them. So just clicking on an artifact in our application catalog, for example, will show them all the attributes related to it and all the things that are connected to it, the usage, so everything that we can think of. And this is a configurable page. So if depending on whom we are going to target, we can have pages configured accordingly. So that's also been enabled for the admins on the architects to cater to respective audience as per their preference. And last but not least, we have these discussions which have been much revamped. Again, we had the same capability in Prolaborate 3 as well. Like, the discussions has been one of the most sought after feature in 3 as well. But then we wanted to make it even more simplified and even more accessible. So the reviews and discussions are all made even more obvious. So from any point, from any artifact or diagram or a chart, you'll be able to start a discussion and engage people to give you feedback. Like previous version of Prolaborate, EA diagrams and artifacts were the only things that we can discuss on. But then the more dashboards and the more widgets that we started to add to report on the EA model information, there was a compelling need to discuss on those widgets. I will be quickly showing you down the presentation on what kind of widgets what kind of reports we are talking about. And there was a repetitive request to let our stakeholders discuss on those reports so that we can enhance it further. And that wasn't supported in the previous version, but in the new version we'll have ability to not only review and discuss on EA diagrams, but also on the reports and charts and graphs and dashboards that we create from the EA model information as well. And the powerful visualizations, again, these visualizations are currently supported in the Prolaborate as well, but then there were several feedback in presentations and the way it's represented to make it even more intuitive and obvious for the stakeholders. So we have incorporated them and have included some state-of-art visualizations that will help us maximize the value from your EA data and present it to the right stakeholders. And then we have also included some powerful what if analysis capabilities. So this is again going down the maturity curve of our stakeholders. All the things that I mentioned in the previous slides were to the people who had very minimal time, very minimal I would say interest in exploring or digging further. But then there are also stakeholders who wanted to use the model information to ascertain, let's say, an impact of changing a data center or changing an application or changing a use case. So what will be the impact of changing things is one of the main benefits we get out of an architecture model. And the visual what if analysis capabilities that we have included in the new version will help us help those users make the most out of the model information that we give to them. And the next couple of slides are going to be a little technical, but I've just placed them here. I'll be quickly skimming through, but what I wanted to emphasize here is it's every single aspect of the Collaborate 4.0 has been taken into consideration, and all the requirements that we had in the last few years has been incorporated and made it even to reflect those suggestions and feedback. So our core focuses are like simplification and sharing, collaboration, dashboards and visualizations, and admin capabilities, and each of these has gone through a full revamp. Again, this slide just shows that when it comes to sharing, it used to be just share a link of a diagram or share a link of an element, and that was working really well. Integrate with Confluence or integrate with SharePoint, that was working well. But then now what we have done is we wanted to incorporate sharing and collaboration in every bits and pieces of the model information, of the reports, of the widgets, of the dashboards. So we have included it in every part of the application, and there is navigability and moving across one report to another report, or moving from one diagram to another diagram. Everything has been carefully rewritten or redesigned to make it as intuitive and easy for the users to use. With collaboration, like the new user experience that we have enabled is like it's easy to tag your users or user groups. You can very quickly look at real-time replies. So if someone else is also replying to your discussion, you will see that on a real-time basis. So all these are not new in all the tools that we are using today. So if you're using the Facebooks and LinkedIn's and Twitters and things like that, we can see all this in those tools. We have just incorporated all the emerging trends into this tool as well, so that it gives the users the best experience. And dashboards and visualizations, again, we had support for some really good visualizations in the previous version as well, but then we had our limitations when we wanted to exchange model information, so design a report and apply in multiple contexts, or admin to just edit a report on the go. There were a couple of steps that they need to go through to edit something. We have addressed those. So we have made it even more easier for the admin. So if I'm an admin and if I'm designing Collaborate for my stakeholders, I'll be able to quickly apply a lot of my design or changes on the go, validate it and apply it. So it's been made a lot more simpler for the admins as well to work. And even more, this like admins or the EA modelers or the architects who are working in EA repository. So it's not just the super admin who sets up an environment. This is for our day-to-day modelers and architects, and we have focused a lot on improving their experience as well. So let's say for people who know Collaborate, we can design queries in Collaborate to run a report or present a chart, but those queries have to be validated somehow before adding into Collaborate. But now what we have done is we will have provision to execute a query at any point of time, so that you could get you could design it more confidently and without having to go back to EA or having to go back to some SQL engine. These are advanced use cases. I'm not trying to scare people by saying all this, but this is to show that we have been focusing on every possible use case that our admins and users have been going through and try to address that. And one of the most sought after feature in the past was having a custom form for users. So if you are looking at a BPMN activity or an Archimate application, and you want to show different information for different stakeholders, a BPMN activity will have a million tag values out of the box, but then you can also have things like cost or efforts or applications as custom attributes added to it. And if you look at EA, it's going to be fully exhaustive. It's going to show all the tags at the same time, but Collaborate was allowing us to simplify that experience, have a custom form for a user or a user group. In 4.0, we can have different forms, different views for different users. So if you are targeting an application architect, that could be, they could see a different set of information. However, if you're targeting a project manager, they could see a different set of information. If you're targeting a process management team, they could see a different set of information. So you could have different forms applied for different groups, and these are all, you know, really powerful tools for the admins to present model information to a variety of audience without having to go through a lot of efforts or setting up multiple repositories. So those were some, I mean, a quick gist of some of the focus areas and some of the changes that we have done. And what I'm going to quickly show here is a quick demo of Collaborate 4.0, which just highlights whatever I discussed in the previous few slides. So the first thing is having a quick and easy landing page, which just shows the diagrams that the user is given access to. And this is a way to explore EA diagram. So I'm starting from an EA diagram viewing use case, which was the base use case. But what we'll see here is just on a click, you'll get the full set of relevant information. And from there, you can jump to this overview page, which gives a tailored view to the users. And this is just a EA diagram that represents multiple hierarchical information. But Collaborate's experience is something where you let people just look at it and click and navigate and find the right information. Instead of just asking them to look at a complex diagram and trying to figure out, they can navigate through the model that we have done in multiple packages and sub packages. So it's a complex model that is underneath, but it's presented in an easier way. And even more, the visualizations again tap into the same model and presents it in an even more intuitive way. As you know, Collaborate's focus is about taking the model information and sharing. And in the new version, what you will have is an ability for the users to comment on these reports as well, which was one of the most sought after feature in the past, which we were not supporting, because this reports is what most of our stakeholders are looking at now, instead of going through the packages or looking at complex diagrams. And these reports have all been enhanced to be even more slick and smooth and more responsive, as you could see. And just by clicking on those, you can expand, you can play with them, or you can navigate back to the model as well. Another focus area is about filters and search, so that people could find their information that is most relevant to them. And as you could see, a BPMN diagram shows a completely different set of information compared to an application. And at every instance, people are prompted to discuss or collaborate. Okay. Again, these are all user experiences, minor experience enhancements, but this makes a lot of difference because we have to invite them to collaborate rather than they figuring out a way to add a discussion. And that has been applied throughout. And this is another view, again, an application portfolio view, leveraging EA data and showing it here again. But what this shows is another way to let the users view model information and navigate back to the information pages, or to its connected items, or to diagrams. So it's just simple use cases we are establishing, but there are different entry points and different ways people would like to access it. And you could see that it's consistent across, and it's the same couple of screens that you could see that solves all the basic use cases. So with that said, another focus area is about reviews. So reviews is one of the features that we use to engage people to give us feedback and approvals. And that has also gone through a full redesign to let people, or let modelers and admins especially, set up a review really easily. We have incorporated search in pretty much everything so that they don't have to browse through a million packages to find what they want. Adding or removing users or user group is just a click away, and you can assign roles to them very easily. And once we set up a review, as you know, emails will be sent to each of those reviewers so that they will be invited to collaborate. And the review dashboard has also been enhanced so that everything is offered to them in one page. So you want to look at the diagrams in a thumbnail view or in a list view. Both are offered to you in the first go. And then if they want to explore further, just a click away from going to the actual diagram. And in the diagram, you could see all the discussions that are happening in parallel. So this is the way we let everyone collaborate at the same time. And instead of having isolated email threads between users and us, it's one place where every feedback is incorporated, and it's made really easy for the users to look at the model information or provide their acceptance or approval as well. So just the user experience, again, to just mark them all as reviewed is just a click away. So every aspect of it has been designed carefully to reduce the complexity for the users and also make it more accessible through searches. So you will have search and navigation as core theme across. So you could search your options or diagrams or properties. Everything could be just found with a couple of keywords. So that is just a quick overview of the new Collaborate 4.0. And as you could see, the interface and the user experience and the responsiveness has all been significantly improved since the previous version. Again, going back to what our idea was when we started with this, we wanted to meet the expectations of the current Collaborate users who are already having a very positive feedback, but at the same time, we want to incorporate all the ifs and buts that they've been reporting to us to give them an even more stable and more responsive and faster application to play with. And that's what Collaborate 4.0 is all about. And with that said, I would also like to add a quick section on the cloud readiness aspect and why is it important and what is Collaborate especially adding in the cloud setup. So cloud, as you know, it's almost like a no-brainer now. Like everyone is considering cloud as their most preferred way of deploying. And for a EA platform, it's even more useful because even the thick client, the enterprise architect thick client, is now part of a browser. I mean, it can be offered through a browser, and that kind of addresses the issues that we have faced in the past, like the Mac users or the Linux users, where we have to go for crossovers and things like that. We have addressed that and we have made it easier. And then also a software update or patches or driver updates. These are all some of the issues that you would have seen or heard from your IT team for a while, and that is all taken care of in a SaaS offering. And scalability is another factor. So most of the users who access Enterprise Architect from different geographical locations have kind of had a feedback that it's slow when it's accessed from a different location. When it's all set up in the local same location, it's fast and it's very responsive. But when you're trying to access it from a different geographical location, that was kind of having some delays and sluggishness added to it. And a SaaS deployment addresses that by making it all available across geographical locations as well. And it's been proven to be significantly faster. And also with all the pandemics and working from homes, like the internal IT teams have been taking a cut as well. And with a SaaS offering, that's going to be all taken care of and it's all ready to go. It's like a turnkey thing. And improvements in Collaborate and Spark systems, especially EA16, is now allowing us to have different solutions for different teams. When we started originally, a cloud deployment was more focused only for a large team who are willing to have that significant spend. But now with EA16, which supports some native SQLite databases and things like that, it's now catered to even individuals who want to start just like they used to start with a conventional enterprise architect application. Now, Prolaborate's role in this, a single sign-on is one of the main feature that every corporate deployment would expect. It's not just to make it easy for the people to access, but it is also to ensure that the access management is controlled and regulated by an approved authority instead of having an application manage its own users. So most of you here would have been here and would know that SSO is the only or the recommended way people could access it. And SSO for a Sparx platform in entirety, there are multiple components in it, and we need to have different ways to integrate with each of these applications. Setting this up for different applications, especially accessing an enterprise architect repository with same SSO, has been a challenge in the past. And what we have done with Prolaborate is, like in the conventional EA solution, we need to have multiple user touch points to allow access to the model. So firstly, we need to log into the SSO provider, which again goes back to the user to get the authentication. And then we need to have another authentication to get into the EA repository, which was all sort of not giving the best experience to the users. But with the new Prolaborate 4.0's user management and authentication, Prolaborate 4.0 takes care of, acts as a single interface to the users where the access management or the sign-in is just done once. And this application now manages access to all Sparx EA platform components, be it Prolaborate, be it Enterprise Architect, be it your license management server, or be it your streaming portal. Everything is now taken care by Prolaborate 4.0 application, which has inbuilt feature to interface with any SSO providers on the other side and handles the EA platform accesses automatically. And it could be any standard, could be SAML or OpenID. As per the individual components needs, this will be a single interface to the users. So that is where that is another it's slightly technical for most users to comprehend, but this is one of the key gaps that we have seen in the past, and that's been addressed in the new version. So this is just a quick walkthrough of what we are talking about. So a login with SSO to Prolaborate is the only step that they have to do. It could be Okta, or it could be my Azure AD or whatever. And from there, they'll be quickly taken to either Prolaborate. So this straight away takes them to Prolaborate. At the same time, they'll also be given a link to access Enterprise Architect. And that if you just click on the link, there won't be any more logins prompted. Prolaborate will take care of this login. So they will be automatically taken to the browser-based EA application, and to even access like a repository or a EA model, they don't have to do any more manual login. So there's no user management at the application side. It's all centralized and managed from one the enterprise level identity management system. So that's a major pain point that we have seen in the past deployments, and that's addressed by Prolaborate 4.0. So once we log in, we do the two-factor authentication or anything through the previous in the first step by logging to Prolaborate, then you are given access to the EA repository or the Prolaborate app, or even the admin components such as the license management without any further user interaction or any login expectation from the users. So this is another pain point that we factored in to give us that cloud readiness and also ease of use. And I wanted to mention about that as well. And there are a couple of other videos that are available in our channel that shows us, different things like, what are the major capabilities of Collaborate in terms of Confluence integration or Jira integration, or even like, DevOps integration. So there are other things which I didn't want to get into a lot of details in this session, but these are all some of the value propositions that Collaborate as a solution brings to table. And I'll share these links in the video description of this as well, just in case if you want to have a closer look. So that's pretty much what I wanted to show as a quick overview of Collaborate 4.0, and what we request, or what we kind of invite you to do is reach out to us to have a detailed discussion. This, I wanted to keep it really precise and very high level to give you an idea of what is being done. But if you want to discuss with one of our consultants or to try it out yourself, please reach out to us via email by contacting collaborate@sparksystems.com or visiting our website, collaborate.sparksystems.com. Thank you.
Thanks, Nizam. Just while you've got that screen up, we did actually have a question saying, when will Spark Systems Collaborate 4 be available to purchase? So just to be clear, if people want to buy it today, can they, and how do they go about it?
Oh yes, they can do it today, and it's available for the users to start using it. So just, please drop us a note in collaborate@sparksystems.com, and we'll reach out to you and discuss what your requirements are and propose the right solution for you.
Excellent. Well, I might just jump into a few questions. So the first question I'd like to cover is, how are some of the ways that Collaborate can assist when working, when you have teams working from home, and how can Collaborate help enhance the underlying Spark Systems Enterprise Architect experience?
Yeah, that's a great question. And like I mentioned through the session, like, work from home and disconnected from the on-premise infrastructure has all been the challenges, and there's been advancements in every front. Spark Systems have been focusing on the Pro Cloud Server and Enterprise Architect 16 to cater to remote connections and faster, more faster remote connections. And Collaborate is a web platform that could be accessed from anywhere, and the whole cloud deployment and the cloud optimizations that I've been talking about is becoming the thing, the most sought after thing, because of these work from home things. So like, we can make it available for users in a secure way, fully controlled by your access management system and your security principles, but they can connect from their own place and just access it and start working. So Collaborate, Spark's platform enhancements, and the whole cloud is all together made it much more accessible from everywhere.
Thanks, Nizam. I've got another question here from Rad that talks about what features are available to help with the integration of content from multiple teams. So for example, if one project defines a client one way and another team defines it a different way, how can you bring those things together and integrate them into a single project when the different teams, might be using different language, different terminology, different structures, different descriptions? So how can you bring that together under the one Collaborate platform?
Yes, that's a great question as well. I kind of, if I also understand the question is, there's also multiple tools that can be used to do requirements or user stories, like it would be Jira and DevOps, and there is Doors, and both Pro Cloud Server, which is the integration layer of the whole platform with REST APIs, and Collaborate, which also builds on top of the integration platform, allows us to seamlessly exchange information between Jira or DevOps or Doors, and also helps us publish information in different ways to Confluences and SharePoint. So the whole platform is done in a way. So I had this as one of my very early slide. I'm not sure if I in my very early slide, I just showed that the whole platform now is built for integrations. So I'll just go very quickly to my very first slide, which showed the platform is like this now, which has EA in the crux, the Pro Cloud Server API, which is more the REST API for integration with other tools, and Collaborate, which builds on it, which gives us an ability to integrate with Jira or Doors or ServiceNow, Confluences, and other tools that could be used by the teams. And now the whole platform is also cloud ready. So this kind of represents what the EA platform currently enabled through Pro Cloud Server and Collaborate looks like.
Thanks, Nizam. So the next one's another interesting question from Mike that says, their organization is interested in using Collaborate as a medium by which to connect our modeling tool, so Enterprise Architect, to our established collaboration environment. And they mention Confluence, but they want to do it wholly in-house, so no external cloud, and they want to be able to develop it all in-house and keep it not on the cloud. So could you perhaps talk about, can this be done in-house and kept on a local server in a secure way, but still tap into all the features that you've talked about today?
Yeah, absolutely. So the entire stack can be deployed either in-house or in cloud. Cloud is something that is just one of the ways of deploying. The entire solution can be availed as package installer, and it can be set up in-house. Like almost 60% or 70% of our user base still has it in-house. So out of let's say like 250 odd customers I spoke about, I think 55 to 60 are the ones who are using cloud at the moment. So there's still a very strong on-premise usage. And with respect to Confluence, we have a Collaborate macro published in the Atlassian website, and there are two variations of it. One is for the cloud Confluence and one is for the on-premise Confluence. So we fully support in-house on-premise Confluence integration and Collaborate integration as well, and it can also be availed as a hybrid approach. If you are strictly no cloud, all in-house, you can deploy Collaborate and the Sparks platform in-house and connect to your in-house Confluence. Or if you want one in cloud, or if you have one in cloud and one on-premise, you can still do the integrations as well.
Excellent, thanks. And I know it's obvious to us, and we're used to seeing people do in-house deployments and cloud deployments and a mixture of different variations, but I think it's important to let customers know that they do have that flexibility if they do want to have it all managed in-house. So thank you. So what I might do now is I'll just wrap things up. And the other thing I also wanted to mention was about Enterprise Architect 16. So the trial for Enterprise Architect 16 is also available. So there's lots and lots of really great new technology features that's available for you to download and experiment and to look at now. So if you haven't updated some of your technology for a while, there's lots of opportunity. And I think one of the great things that Nizam was pointing out was that we've responded to lots and lots of customer feedback. So we've really, in every aspect, whether it be Enterprise Architect 16, Pro Cloud Server, or Prolaborate, we've listened to customers to try and deliver features that are really important in these times when teams might be working remotely, when they might be working in a hybrid approach. So many of the things that we've implemented really help to meet those challenges and make life easier for our customers. So there's certainly some amazing things. So you can go to sparksystems.com if you would like to download a trial version for registered users of Enterprise Architect 16. You can go to prolaborate.sparksystems.com and you can reach out to Nizam and his team if you'd like to learn more about Prolaborate or try that out. And you know, there's a couple of people that were asking questions about pricing and about implementation locally and via the cloud, and you know, various questions. So if you have specific implementation questions, then you can reach out to the team, and we're happy to help address those issues. So as I mentioned, this webinar will appear on YouTube probably within 24 hours, and on sparksystems.com under the webinar library once we answer some of the Q&A. So please feel free to download Enterprise Architect 16, the trial version, and take a look at that, and have a look at prolaborate.sparksystems.com to learn more about Prolaborate. And as per usual, if you have any questions about webinars, just reach out to us at webinars@sparksystems.com. I always appreciate hearing feedback, and look forward to getting feedback about webinars and what people like to hear about. So we really appreciate our audience here. So just before I sign off, Nizam, is there anything else that you'd like to mention before we head off?
No, I just wanted to thank everyone for their participation. There's been quite a number of questions I can see. We'll reply to each of your question and make it available in the webinar page and also in the YouTube channel. So sorry if I haven't answered your question during the session, but thank you all for the participation. It was, you know, really appreciated.
Thanks, Nizam. That's fantastic. And take care of one another, look after yourself, and thanks for taking the time to visit Spark Systems today and to attend this webinar. And look forward to seeing you at future webinars where we'll be looking at Enterprise Architect 16 features around collaboration, some of the new features such as scriptlets, and much, much more. So that's it from me. I'm Scott Hebbard from Spark Systems, and thanks to Nizam for his excellent presentation, and look forward to seeing you again in the future.
Thank you.